I have taken more than 80 to 90 interviews for hiring data scientists, and I have found that most of the candidates get rejected during the project discussion. They are not able to explain their data science projects in a right way. Hi, my name is Rohit, and in today's video, I will share some tips related to the data science project interview and which kind of questions you can expect in this particular interview. Let's get started. So whenever you have your data science interview, first question after the introduction would be discussion about projects in your CV. So what I have seen is whenever I asked up to people to explain the projects in their CV, they would start in very robotic way. So most of the people would directly jump into solution that in this particular project, this is the model I have built and I have got this much accuracy, or I started with doing EDA and then I built the model. So they start talking about the project in a very robotic way. So don't do that. You have to create some curiosity in the mind of interviewer when you're talking about your data science project. So for example, if you have worked on a data science project to predict diabetes based on the health parameters, right? So don't directly start talking about EDA or feature selection, right? First of all, you have to create curiosity. So you can say something like, there are 100 million people in India who are suffering with diabetes. So basically, if you create a model which takes health parameters, food habits, and maybe exercise parameters of the person, and then that model is able to predict the chances of getting diabetes in future, we can use this model in taking preventive actions with respect to diabetes. So this initial pitch is really important. That would create curiosity in the mind of interviewer. So similarly, if you have any project which you have worked in the industry, talk about the business impact at the beginning only. That in this project, this was the business problem, and if we solve it using machine learning, this is the value which we are going to create. That would help you to stand out. Then when you start talking about your technical solution, make sure that you are talking about the challenges which you have faced in building that particular model. So basically, how you got that data, were there any data issues, for example, missing values, how you did the missing value imputation, talk about that. Then talk about how you have selected the features, because when you work in the industry, you won't get ready-made data like you get in the form of Kaggle, right? So there you have to talk about like how you did various discussions with the stakeholders, how you identified the extra features, then how you included those features in your machine learning model. Talk about all those aspects, because that would tell you to the interviewer the kind of process which you have followed in building that particular data science project. And that would also help you to stand out. Now let's discuss about the kind of questions you would get during your project round. So couple of important questions or couple of important things that interviewer as a hiring manager trying to find out is how you have done the exploratory data analysis. So in that you would get questions related to the correlation, causation, hypothesis testing, missing value imputation, because in missing value imputation, it's not necessary that you have to do it only using mean, median or mode. You can do it based on other features. You can do it based on simple machine learning models. So you would get questions around that. Then once that is clear, then you would get questions around feature selection, feature identification. So make sure that you are able to explain those with respect to all the projects in your CV. Then which machine learning model you have built, then why you selected that particular machine learning model. So for example, if you have used random forest model, you might get questions like, why you have used random forest for classification, why not logistic regression, or why not SVM. So you should be able to answer questions like those. So in that case, you should be able to talk about the advantages of random forest model, why in that particular use case using random forest was better as compared to something like logistic regression. So those kind of questions you should be able to answer. Then you would also get questions related to hyperparameter tuning, overfitting scenarios, because some machine learning models can also result in overfitting, right? So you should be able to tell how you have handled those scenarios and how you would know that your model is overfitting on the current data. So those kind of questions would come as well. Then just developing the machine learning model or evaluating the model is not enough. So you would get a lot of questions obviously on your evaluation, how you have separated the training and testing data. Is there any data leakage or is there any bias happening in your model? So you should be prepared to answer those as well. Then after developing the model, to create the actual business value, you have to deploy the model. So you would get questions like should you go ahead and deploy that model as an API or as a batch script? Then whichever decision you took, like what was the reason behind that? Then after deploying the model, how you are monitoring that model, because machine learning models results can drift over time, and that drift can be due to data drift or any other reason. So it is very important to monitor the results of the model which is deployed in production. So you would get questions around that as well. So basically, right from getting the data to deploying your model, you can get any questions. And when you start explaining the project, make sure that you are pitching your business impact at the beginning. Then you are pitching the kind of challenges that you got specific to your project. Your pitch shouldn't be robotic, because that is one of the mistakes that many freshers who are trying to get into data science, they are doing. Because I have done a lot of mock interviews in last few months, and I have seen that as a common pattern. So make sure that you are well prepared for your data science interview with respect to projects, because if you explain your projects in the right way, you can definitely stand out, let me tell you, because that's the main thing in your overall data science interview. So all the best for your next interview, and I hope that these tips were important and useful for you to prepare well. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.